Give me one of your favourite moments of the day and beyond.
I mean, we've talked about the concourse, but that was one of my favourite moments of the day, the concourse, to be honest with you.
Pick us one that we've not discussed already.
Can you go to go first? She's not said anything for ages.
For me, it was most defo before kick-off, where I just had a moment and I just FaceTimed my group chat. You know, I'm so blessed that my family were, you know, made me to be football mad, but also Liverpool supporters. And they went the games before me. My sister took me to my first ever game when I was younger. Then I started going with my brother. And, you know, my dad stopped going after the likes of Hillsborough. So just FaceTiming them when they were all in one place and just letting them listen to Anfield sing before the players came out. And like my sister cried because, you know, I'm so lucky that I get to be inside that stadium. They're not as fortunate. They've been inside that stadium loads of times. But for that occasion, they weren't able to be there, and to just be able to FaceTime them and to just sit there in absolute disbelief at like how lucky I am to be in that moment, and to let them sort of experience it, even if it was through, you know, a camera, and just facing the sea of red in front of me, hearing them sing along to, you know, Hand It Over Manchester and all of that. That for me is the greatest moment, because we've spoke about it before. We all absolutely live and breathe football, but it's the people who you go the game with. It's the people who, you know, you stand by and who you support it with that make it special.
Just talk about it with.
Exactly. They're the people who make it special. And for me, that is my family. And there's been times this season where, like, I've not lost my love for football, but we all know how much football used to get me down. Like, I would be either on top of the world or completely in the pits of hell, depending on how Liverpool did in midweek on the weekend. This season, I've let that go. I've kind of been able to switch off from football. You know, the Etihad City is the only game I've missed this season in the Premier League. And sitting in that ground, I remember exactly why you travel everywhere, why you go and you wake up at 3 a.m. to do Ipswich away for an 12:30. Like, you go to Plymouth, even Plymouth, that was a horrendous away there. You remember that all of these little moments are just part of the journey, and it's an absolute incredible ride that we've been on, and to do it with the people I've been able to do it with, like my mates, going the game with them, like you take it for granted, and in the moment you don't realise just how special it is, and then the moment actually happens, the realisation happens, and it's just indescribable, the feeling and the love you feel for everyone around you. Yeah, absolutely. Dan?
Yeah, listen, it was a perfect day from start to finish, more or less. Let's have it right. Better than I ever could have envisioned or imagined. And I've waited my entire life for that to be a thing. But for me, it was actually sort of the closing stages of the match and sort of the final 10, 15 minutes of the game, and then the post-full-time whistle, and just the sheer celebrations and the love that everybody felt in that moment. And I enjoyed embracing it, soaking it all in and being a part of it and singing the songs and dancing and all that side of it. But then I had to sort of take a step back from it momentarily and just sort of think about myself for a second, and sort of think about why I was there and sort of the reasons I was there and the people that have got me there. And obviously, as you guys probably know, two of the most important people in my life aren't with us anymore. So I did sort of take a second just think about my mum and my granddad, who took me to my first ever game, and he's the reason I became such a passionate Liverpool supporter. So yeah, it was very, 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 very like heartbreaking, but also glorious at the same time. Real combination of the two things. So yeah, I had to give myself a minute and just sort of recalculate life for a second. But yeah, no, it's true though. That was what happened. You know what I mean? And that really got to me, but in the most special way, if you like.
Yeah. Steve?
For that, sorry, mate. I FaceTime with Lucas. I apologise in advance. It was very unprofessional of me, but I wasn't not going to do that. So he texted me.
Yeah, we've always been super professional.
he texted me saying that, Dad, we've won the league, or something like that. And I was like, I know, mate, it's fantastic. And then he went, can you call me? And I was like, Claire said she was with him, and she was like, your dad's live, he won't be able to talk to you. And I was like, no, I'm going to so FaceTime with Lucas and having him cheering like everyone. And thank you to everyone who was on the watch along, giving him like, go on, Lucas, get in, son. Like I showed him all the comments. He's walked into school today like on cloud 9. It was fantastic. That was awesome. And then being at Anfield with you guys, and we're trying to do that video, and what it turned into, and the mad scenes, and randomly, like my brother and my sister and my niece were just there, they turned up unexpectedly. Those scenes were unbelievable, fantastic. And then the third, apologies, I'm doing three. The third one was when I got home, Lucas had waited up for me, give him a hug. My daughter was obviously, she's not that bothered, she was asleep, and then Claire was there, and we just sat and had a chat, and we spoke about a few things, like, you know, bloody hell, like, you know, what you've been, I'm same as you, up and down the country, all around Europe. I have quit a job that was like I had a secure job in the NHS, and I quit it to go and work in football content. And you've done the same, you guys have done it as well, coming here. Like, it's a gamble, like, there's nothing's given, you know what I mean? I was thinking, we do it because A, I love Liverpool, and B, I love footy, but it's for moments like that. I was so blessed to be able to do it. So we had a little conversation about like that, you know what I mean? Like, and then it's like, I don't want it to feel like we've completed the computer game, that's the next step. So like, I want it to be, there's more to come. But it was kind of like, you're right. I thought COVID, I thought 1920 it boxed me off, and it hadn't. Yeah. It absolutely hadn't. I thought, like, you know, it's when you eat a meal and you think you're full, but actually you're not. I was full after yesterday. Those flares going off and the scenes and the celebrations, and then you guys left, and I was on my own for a little bit. Everyone had gone, and I walked back, and I parked miles away, and I had half an hour walking back on my own, and I was thinking, it was like a bit of a come down, but a good come down. And the same as Dan, I'm thinking about like people and friends and family, and like the reason why I support Liverpool, the reason that I invest so much into 11 lads kicking a ball. Yeah. That's what I do. You know what I mean? I talk about it. It's my job. It's been everything for me, and it sounds stupid, but then if I can tell somebody, you can get to feel like how I felt at Anfield. Every single one of them would support a football team like I do. Because if that was a drug and you could bottle it and you could sell it, we would be bazillionaires, honestly. Because that feeling of the togetherness and the community was it's unparalleled. I've never felt nothing like it before. It was different in terms of like, it was just bizarre. It was unbelievable. The only thing I compare it to is like wedding, my kids being born. Yeah. Like they're the only things that I'll ever top. That was next after those three things. It was just a monumentous day, unbelievable.
Cool. I was going to say Elliot squaring up to Richarlison.
I mean,
Can I have another one?
Yeah. That was great.
Absolutely fucking brilliant. Cool. Guys, fuck me. You absolutely finished me off.
I still haven't thought of one because I was so intently listening to everybody else. But I told you before, right, that I was welling up on the way, and just before I left to use when I was talking to my kids about it and stuff. I actually did cry outside the stadium last night when I spoke to my dad. Because obviously, why the hell wouldn't you? You know what I mean? I'm fucking hell. Fuck's sake.
It's all good.
Footy eye.
Them Reds, eh?
What it does to you.
But this is how, like you were talking before about empathy and joy and everything else. The last thing I did before bed last night. Everyone knows my brothers are blue. I texted him and said, I hope you feel that one day.
Fuck. Counterpoint, I hope he doesn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
everybody should feel that one day in their life.
Except Evertonians.
I don't care, mate. I was happy. I'm joyful. I don't give a shit if anyone else feels like that.
No, I'm with you, man.
I want them to. So there you go.
Yeah. I was also going to say, when Joe Gomez got his song sang, wasn't that lovely?
That was great.
Did enjoy that.
He looked very shy.
He did. Yeah, and I'm glad. I think Endo getting his song was absolutely brilliant. But the Gomez one was such a... Because he's been injured for half the season. You know what I mean? He's just not been there. But he's been part of this whole... He's been so unlucky, hasn't he? You know what I mean? Like, to not be part... You know, whenever we've won stuff, you can point to the ways that he's contributed towards things. When we won the league title last time, you can point to that when we secured it, and it was that like chunk from like October to January, and him and Virgil van Dijk playing centre half, absolute magic. But I love the fact that we were able to give him a little bit of something. He's our longest serving player now, Gomez, isn't he? You know, so
Can I also just shout out to my family because they support us in everything they do. They usually come down at about 20 to 30 of them. And before I joined Redmen, I watched the games with them. That's like with my family. They started my YouTube channel with me. I got me nan, who's 93 and sat in a Liverpool top yesterday, loves the football, adores the football, sees Diaz's goal, sees it on a replay and thinks we've gone 2-0 up instead of just the 1-0.
We've all done that.
It was nan on the sherry again.
But I have made them sit in front of a camera when they've not wanted to be part of a YouTube video. Me dad's done it, me brother's done it, me sisters have done it, my mum has done it, even though she does not want to be on it. And, you know, without them, like they're the reason I support Liverpool. I adore football. I grew up in a mad footy household. So it was never not possible to not love Liverpool. But to see me now and to see like the fact that they now sit there and watch those videos of me inside the ground. My brother helped me get a season ticket. It's ridiculous and yous as well, because this, you know, for the past 2.5 years, my match day routine has been seeing your faces every single week.
God help you.
So there is no better people to do it with than yous and the Bloxham household. So shout out to them.
The one of my slightly nice ones that isn't just me poking fun at Gary Neville and Richarlison was when we were filming outside the ground, and I did a little bit. I've got a video going out this evening probably, because I did a reaction video after we won it last time but it was in the living room in my house, and I've got like my mad lockdown moped and like trying to explain what it meant, and I was just like, oh my God, I can do that video outside the ground. And the amount of people, I was trying to like do like emotional moments, and people kept going, oh, Redmen TV, oh, yeah, all right, lads, I'm going. And then he went, it's really troublesome thing, all right, lads, I'm going, yeah. And some lad, who was obviously selling the replica medals, just saw me and went, oh, mate, yeah, and just basically handed me one. And I was like, and the
video I got of you was insane. Absolutely incredible.
But it's just like they're the moments where, again, human interaction, being able to just feed off that happiness. And, you know, that when people think of football fans, they think of the negative side of football fans getting together, and every fan base has got them. But, you know, that's twice now I've been to Anfield, the night the title's been confirmed, you know, to be able to experience it freely this time, as opposed to feeling like you're a bit naughty, or you can't be there long because you might get in trouble or whatever. Like I was looking for the footage of that, and I realised that I didn't put my face on any of that. I didn't do any, which I obviously done this time, because it felt like, I was like, oh, I can't be arsed with the comments of people going, COVID, what are you doing out there? You shouldn't be all, given that I'd had COVID and put videos out about it and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, to be able to freely go and mingle amongst happy human beings.
Yeah. Mate, that moment, one of my favourite parts when we bring it back to it, when we turned up, and I see you give you a hug, you come over, give you a hug, and I didn't know where you was, and I was there, stay! And I turned around and Chloe is on the top of the car doing this. I mean, so like, have you seen that video when those lads are on the balcony dancing with the other lad below? That was me and Chloe. We were both like this to each other. It was magnificent. And then you come down, and then Elle comes over, was like, this is class, this mates party time was brilliant.
It was your kids coming through, and me just lobbing the rings to the wall.
That post-match stuff was the most pure Redmen. You know what I mean? Because it started off in the house, and we were talking about last week was the 15th anniversary. We haven't talked loads about it. There'll be more to come, because the title stuff's got in the way in some regards. We're going to be doing more.
If something's going to get in the way, 35 for something fucking else.
If something's going to get in the way, thank God it's that. But yeah, you know, but to that, yeah. It started off in the back room, and then the peak of it was very much Jurgen Klopp. Well, Brendan Rodgers 13-14 to COVID, where we were outside grounds speaking to all kinds of people, getting mobbed when we were winning big games, and just totally elation, throwing ourselves into it. And it was such a lovely throwback feeling where people were jumping and singing and shouting and wanting to get and grabbing microphones just to sing Virgil van Dijk's song.
Someone has one of our things off, you know, that's why you've got a red one today. Some fella robbed one of our microphone covers at one point.
I don't think it was some fella robbed that. I think Frank just fucking lost that, you know.
I'm pretty sure.
fair enough.
I think
it
was pretty windy there last night, and Frank had 5 mics or something.
I just can't believe that someone rocked up with a ladder to Anfield just to put it up against the wall so they could climb up.
Good.
Mate, honestly, I was with James, I had my arm around him after the game and stuff, and we were just looking at the flares and that, and I think he turns around and goes, I reckon these have been stockpiling them behind the toilets for months, you know. Like the idea that someone just hiding flares in the corner of Anfield to bring them out, because some of the foresight that people have is amazing. Like fireworks, it never entered my mind. Let's just bring a load of fireworks to the ground. Why not?
I mean, it depends on the area you live in. Round ours, fireworks are on hand for any given possible moment or opportunity. So yeah, but yeah, people
also, Arne Slot singing the Jurgen Klopp song, by the way.
Yes, yeah, good show. Yeah.
My days.
Measuring a man.
Oh my days.
That's a man who's secure in himself.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't do that. I'd be so insecure. He was like, you know what? I can do this because
But the funny thing about that is, I wonder whether that almost occurred to him while he sat at home, technically still as Feyenoord manager, watching Klopp do that handover to him, thinking, if this, you know what, if I win the league, I'm gonna knock this straight up. But he's had that, you know, like, and he's not mentioned. He's been sat and talking about like hiding things, you know, like he's had this squirreled away, waiting for his moment, big smile on his face.
Someone needs to ask him. Yeah, someone has to ask him that question.
The like 40 minutes of us just going through every player's song, like Wataru Endo's song. Oh my god, that cutie! And the way he just bounced over with Harvey Elliott. Loved it.
I got dead annoyed at Liverpool then because they interrupted.
Yes.
Didn't need to start with the microphone and stuff, and I was really angry with them because I was thinking, oh no, they're gonna wank all over this like they did at the end of the season. Because being in the ground at the end of last season wasn't a great spectacle, was it? You know, how many people got wheeled out and all that type of stuff. But I don't think they should have, you know, interrupted that and singing the player songs and stuff. But what they did do was absolutely perfect and just enough. Couldn't hear all of it, to be honest, mainly because people were still singing and stuff. But it was a nod and it was respectful, and then it was back to us being fans controlling the event again, which is what it should be like. I'm
also thankful that they didn't put like thank you for your support across all the borders, because for the Jurgen thing they did and everyone was like, oh well, that's it, and half of the stadium left not knowing that, you know, they were going to walk back round, where it just had Premier League champions everywhere, so everybody knew to stay inside the stadium. It
was just that thing. I was thinking, how long do we stick around? Because I've got no idea. I've never experienced it before. I was saying to my dad last night, I've seen, you know, like laps of honour. I've seen laps of appreciation when we've had shit seasons and done fuck all. I've seen those farewell ones, and then obviously particularly the Jurgen Klopp one last year. I've seen big European wins, Barcelona, where we all hung around and you never walk alone. It was like all the best bits of all of them all piled into one. And then when I walked outside the ground, I had no idea what to expect, because I'd been in the ground by that point another half an hour or so. It should be empty outside, but it was even busier. And then I was like, what do people do? What do you do? Because Arna's not going to walk out with the trophy and there's your focal point. But like, it just built and built and built and built. And then to the point where we were just finishing filming, it was starting to get dark, and that's when the fireworks started to make sense, as opposed to when they were going off half an hour earlier. And all the flares and smoke bombs. It was the perfect combination of every experience I've had. And we basically get to do it all again in a month.